thanks. How about you?
It's going great, man.
I love the hat. I love it.
What hat? I'm not wearing a hat. Ha ha
Oh,
ha.
I was like, is that Simba?
No, dude, this is my real personality.
I love it.
I sit around the house like this. Dude, you want to see something really cool?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, say, can you see?
Is that the new one? Because you said
Yeah,
last.
this is one of the new ones.
Yeah, I saw him this morning.
Yeah, so cool, man.
Oh man, are you like a huge toy collector or puppet collector or?
Yeah. You know, it all started back on that farm in Maine where we didn't get a lot of television stations. So my parents got me comic books. I loved the comic books as a little kid. So they got me action figures. And I ended up playing with action figures, you know, into my teens and just making up adventures with them. And also, this sounds crazy, but actually, I thought that was the way men were supposed to look. So my dad was more of an intellectual. He was a doctor, and he was not a physical specimen, but he was super smart. But I thought men were supposed to look like action heroes. And so when I became an adult and I found out that they didn't, I was determined to change that.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
No,
man.
that's it. Like, well, like I see that too sometimes, like, and in terms of fitness, when you were talking about like getting ripped, a lot of people, a lot of my clients have that perception of, let's say, Captain America, or like Chris Hemsworth, Thor, and
Yeah.
that build. And when I do in-home personal training and they ask me, let's do that, I'm like, well, we're going to have to dig deep and really change a lot of things in order to get that. And I'm sure you see it every day. You train, and we're going to go deeper later in the conversation, but I'm sure you train these actors who, they have to be on screen and their contracts depend on it,
Right.
on their physical fitness, right? So they're at the gym working out 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the afternoon. And I'm like, that's the lifestyle you're going to have to do pretty much every day if you want that.
Well, I'll tell you, man, we, after doing this for 30 years, I have some really powerful shortcuts in helping guys that are normal become extraordinary in days, not weeks or months, days. And so, yeah, it's been great, man. I love living in Hollywood. I love working with actors. I love working with rock stars, man, because we do the same thing to famous musicians. So when they're on stage, despite their age, they'll take their shirt off. The place goes crazy. They'll sell more T-shirts that way, actually. By taking their T-shirt off, they sell more T-shirts.
Because they'll throw it out into the crowd and people will say, I want that. And they'll get the
Right.
T-shirt. There
Yeah,
we go.
man.
But that's fantastic. I mean, I've seen you live. You toured a couple of last year, I think, with Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Or Def Leppard, sorry. Def Leppard.
Yeah. Last year I was with Def Leppard, and then the year before that I was with Journey and Def Leppard together, and we even work with Nickelback. They're a big Canadian band.
Oh yeah, no, I enjoy some of their music. I'm not a huge fan. I'm a huge Metallica fan, but Nickelback I enjoy listening to. Some of the stuff is really good, especially I'm a guitarist like yourself, and I enjoy some good riffs out of there.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, we're already talking here, but let's take a step back, and I want to know.
You want to start the show, or is the show going?
Let's just go. Let's see how it goes.
Awesome.
You know what? I'll have some bonus out. I have bonus cuts.
Okay.
Some B-real stuff, right?
I like it.
So, thank you once again for joining me, being a guest on the podcast. I love it. You know what? I think we met in 2015, roughly, at the Can't Fit Pro conference in Toronto. Unofficially, I was one of those guys who was volunteering. I was volunteering as social media, and I walked into one of your sessions. I was actually assigned to your session to take some notes and tweet some stuff out. And I just absorbed a lot of things from that session. Even though I didn't attend it, I attended, I wanted to be a part of it. So I stayed longer on purpose. And you know what? Since then, your energy, just engaging with the delegates, the people there, the fitness coaches, the personal trainers, the fitness enthusiasts, it was just, it was amazing. And I took that as an example for myself and how I train my clients, my athletes. And it's like that since then. And I remember a couple of things you said that session. There was one thing, and I always use it, and I quoted you in a previous podcast about fitness, but I also attributed it to life,
Mhm.
where you said fitness is like a meandering path in the jungle. If you step off of it, it's getting on that's most important, or something to that effect. I'm paraphrasing, but it's something that stuck with me. And I use it in life because, life is that meandering path.
Right.
And we've got to remember our goals. How many times that we have clients who tell us, oh, I had a Reese's peanut butter cup, right? And they're like, okay, don't worry, but get back on it. And it's just, that was used as an example. And there's a couple of things too. And since then, your social media videos, a lot of my training has been influenced by what you teach out there. And someone, by the way, and for those listening right now, you won't be able to see me, but I'm doing a tornado movement with my hands where you take two dumbbells and you kind of do this movement where you open up. I call it the tornado fly. And yeah, it's just like gets that. And you kind of shine the light on the three-dimensional aspect of muscle training. And I've been using that. So a lot of my clients, when they'd see like a new exercise, I'm like, and they would be asking me, did you watch another Eric the Trainer video? And I just look at them and nod. And
That's
it's
all
true.
I did. Well, Joseph, coming from you, that's a huge compliment. Thank you so much. And I agree with you. I kind of see you and I very similar in our personalities and our mission. And that's why I was always drawn to you. I think you and I have a lot of things in common. I think we both love people. And I think to be a great personal trainer, not a good one, there are plenty of good ones, but to be a great personal trainer, you have to love people, because for us, it's not a job, it's a mission. It's an adventure much larger than ourselves. Like you said, the world of exercise is like the Amazon jungle. It's a dense, vast piece of property where if you wander around, you can fall, you can hurt yourself, you can get bit by a snake or eaten by a lion. But if you have a guide through that Amazon jungle, like Joseph or like me, you can actually enjoy all of the beauty and majesty and glean things from that jungle that will enhance your life forever. So I think it's very exciting. But Joseph, I think you were getting at the notion of linear versus nonlinear exercise, meaning so much of traditional bodybuilding is linear. Here's a shoulder press, that's linear. Here's a bicep curl, that's linear. Everything is linear. However, with a martial arts background like I have, I'm very much into cutting the angles and having nonlinear. So if I start with one hand underneath the arm and the other one out, and I make a circle, and then I come to the other side, and now my opposite hand is underneath, this is a non-linear movement. And even if you use light weights and hold them here, pretending there's a string between them, and that string must stay tight, you suddenly are asking your body to make a non-linear movement, which will disguise your bodybuilding stuff. And people will look at you and say, like, how did that happen? Were you born that way? Did you climb ropes to get that way? Have you crawled on your hands through the desert? The answer is no. I trained with Joseph in Canada.
Influenced by Eric the Trainer. That's what happened. I'll tell you something right now. So I've been doing the Sleek Ninja program with you, and people are hating the hydrants. They're hating the hydrants right now. And, I feel it. And it works. And so here's my question to you right now. We talked about how it's about the people. We want to lead. We want to inspire and empower the people we touch, we come into contact with. Pre-COVID, post-COVID, during COVID, we're still touching souls, right?
Yes.
We want to lead. We want to inspire them. Who is Eric the Trainer beyond the business card? What is your why, your purpose? I ask this question to everybody because when you understand that, when you know it, you know where they're coming from. And
well, to answer that, Joseph, to answer that accurately, you have to understand that in my line of work, for whatever the reason, this was not planned, but for whatever the reason, there is a dual persona. There is Eric the Trainer, the fitness expert that lives here in Hollywood, that works with celebrities and can jump over buildings. And then there's Eric Fleischman, the guy that grew up in Maine on a farm, who is a normal guy, who loves comic books and action heroes and plays guitar for fun and lives a normal life. And so for me at this phase of my career, I've been a trainer for almost 30 years. That's a long time to work in one field. And I love it so much. It's the greatest. But my daily life now is living with my beautiful fiance, Alicia, and enjoying life as Eric Fleischman. But then when I go to work, it's Eric the trainer. And that's a different guy. Eric the trainer has no limitations. Eric Fleischman stubs his toe sometimes and it hurts like crazy. So there is a slight difference. So professionally, I'm on a mission that was started by Jack LaLanne back in the 50s, where he wanted to help normal people live extraordinary lives. And he worked his entire life through television, through products, through live events, and helping people. When I met him and he became an influence on me, he was already well into his 90s, okay? Mm-hmm. I only knew him for a few years before he passed away. And he might have left this earth, from a physical standpoint, but he lives in my heart every single day. So when I wake up, I know that I'm on the same mission that he started, to help normal people feel extraordinary. The easiest way for guys like you and I, Joseph, to help normal people is to actually create megaphones that get our message out there, whether it's like this podcast or a TV show or all the celebrities that I work with here in Hollywood. They are clients of mine, but you know what they really are? They're megaphones for all of the mission that we're trying to do, because those people are the most watched people on the planet. And when they start talking about, oh yeah, I started eating this way, I started exercising, Eric made me go to bed early, and I really felt such a difference. They're educating and inspiring millions of people with the message that we have. It's not about me. I mean, I don't consider myself to be an egotistical guy. It's not about me. It's about the mission. And these people help me so much get the word out there. It's really a nice place to live.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, I see it. And, we create as coaches, we have our focus, we have our clients, we're working with our athletes, and we have that moment. But then at the same time, once it's all done, we've created a ripple effect. I have stories, and I'm sure you as well have tons of them in your vast experience as a fitness professional, where they come back to you and say, yeah, I just told my wife or my husband, my sister, brother, friend, something, and they did something, and then it ripples on. And it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be an actor to be on, you don't have to be on the silver screen. You could be just a regular, person like walking the streets and already impacting somebody.
Right. I can tell you a great story. One day I was in the gym and I got a call that my 11 o'clock client had to cancel, which is fine because it actually gives me an hour to relax, have a little lunch, maybe have a little workout myself. So I was excited just to have that free hour. An older woman came in and she looked like she didn't look kooky, but she didn't look totally with it. She seemed a little out of it. And she said, is there a trainer here? Is there a trainer here that can help me? And I thought, this is a moment. This is a moment that I can either accept or reject. So I said, I am a trainer and I am free. How can I help you? And she said, I've been having trouble stepping off the curb in front of my house to get my mail. And I wanted some exercises, blah, 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 blah. And I said, no problem. I mean, I didn't know who this woman was. I brought her around. I treated her like a superstar. I really tried to explain things in a very quiet and thoughtful way to sort of come to a place of communication, for her, because she wasn't a high-toned individual. She was kind of a quiet, shy, older individual. And so I tried to connect with her that way. We actually had a great 45-minute session together. And afterwards, she reached into her purse to give me some money. And I said, no way, I am not accepting money because I had such a great time with a fantastic girl. So I called her a girl. Anyway, she thought that was great. I forgot about this. I forgot about this experience. 3 months later, I'm at the night before party at the Beverly Hills Hotel. It's the night before the Oscars. Mm-hmm. And every star in the world is there. And I'm lucky enough to have an invitation. So I'm there. And I feel like I'm in a Vanity Fair magazine. Like I'm the only normal guy with all these amazing celebrities. It was a fun party to be at. Suddenly there was a little tap on my shoulder. I turned around, there's George Clooney. And he said, that woman was my aunt. And you really made a great impression on her. And I wanted to thank you. And we started spending time together. And you just never know. You just never know who anyone is in the world. And so you can't be selective with being professional with these guys, not caring about these guys. if you're truly on a mission like me and Joseph, like you also, you need to embrace the world. You need to help everyone. You need to set a standard for yourself of excellence. How you do one thing is how you do everything. You have to live by that creed, and that's what I try to do. And that's what Joseph does too, which is why he's one of my favorite Canadians. Woo-hoo!
Yes. Please note one of, because just in case Nickelback is listening.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Jason Priestley, we work with Jason Priestley. He's one of your top actors. We work with who else? Shawn Mendes. Shawn Mendes works out at our gym. We've got a lot of great Canadians, man. I think we might steal just the best part of Canada and keep it for ourselves in Hollywood.
Okay, I'll just come over. I'll pack up my bags. No, seriously, it's on my bucket list. Visiting the Mecca, ETT Mecca would be.
You are, I'm telling you, in a public forum, you are cordially invited, Joseph. If you called me today and said, hey, I just bought a plane ticket, I'm coming to Los Angeles, you would have a great time because we'd have big workouts and we'd have fun, and you're welcome to come anytime.
That's awesome. But, I could see that happening, and I meet up with you, go for a good workout while my wife goes off to CBS Studios to try to get her dream job as a cast member of The Young and the Restless.
That's awesome.
So, no, it's amazing because, even at Starbucks, you go to Starbucks, you talk about fitness and how to be a better version of yourself, or even talk about mindset, because that's what I do as well. As I'm a mindset coach. So I coach beyond the rep. And I think a lot of coaches have to do that. Now, it would be not have to, but there should be they need to have a desire and the drive to do that, because it just amplifies the game a lot more. And you reach people and you connect at a deeper level. And sometimes I'll tell you this right now. So I was on a tech support call with my internet service provider. This is a couple of months ago. Problem solved in 10 minutes. But because of my past experience, I used to be in IT. I used to be an IT business analyst doing personal training part-time. But I had all this experience, and this person I was talking to wanted something more than what she was doing now. So I actually coached her into career growth and talking to her manager and see if she can shadow another team. And I know companies like that will encourage employees to seek growth. And it's just fun, So when you preach it every day, it's a passion. It doesn't feel like a job, and it comes out naturally. Like you and I can go on for more than an hour here, just talking about stories, or just getting a coach to coach, a peer to peer, friend to friend type of conversation where we just inspire each other. And how can we inspire others?
Right. Well, Joseph, I think you bring up a very, very important point for all of your listeners, and that is that you need to, as a coach or as a trainer, have a level of living and a level of mood and a level of what they call tone that's higher than average in order to be successful. A lot of trainers who are highly qualified from an academic standpoint find that they can't build or maintain a clientele, and it comes down to what they put out there, that sort of positive energy. But I think that if you are someone who sees themselves like me and like Joseph on a mission, then that's reflected from your heart outwards. And people can sense that. People are smarter than you think. Even people that are not scholastically trained, people that haven't gone to college or even dropped out of high school, they can sense authenticity. So if you're on a mission to help them and they can sense that, then you can get a lot accomplished. If you come to them highly qualified, but low energy, low toned, not that positive, they're not going to want to be around you. People are focused and drawn to energy. And if that energy is positive, you can't lose, my friend. Ooh.
That's it. That's what I keep on talking about. Recently, I came up with a list of five principles of resilience. And one of them is create your choir. You want to surround yourself with those who make your soul sing, and surround yourself with those who will allow you to make their soul sing in return. And I find when you surround yourself with positive energy, you're just, first of all, you're drawn to the positive energy, but when you surround yourself, you create that positive energy yourself and amplify it further. And that's it. We just got to stay on our game. And, we're allowed to have our moments, where we just feel like, blah, but when it's showtime, It's showtime. Sometimes I'll look at myself in the mirror and actually do this, like trying to like, yeah, like I'm swiping. By the way, for those who are listening right now, not watching, because this will also be on YouTube, but I'm actually putting my hand in front of my face, transitioning from serious face to smile face. And, but and you actually bring up a, great point, great thing here with your programming right now. I'm going to skip to the, to the meat of it, because I have a lot of questions, and, I love how this conversation is going, but I want to go into the way, we created something called fitness entertainment.
Right.
With the program. So since the beginning of the pandemic, of the COVID-19 pandemic, you've been doing a lot of free sessions on Zoom, and now that's changing up a little bit. Now you have creating a program called Morning Glory Live,
Yes.
starting June 8th. That's tomorrow. Yes. And it looks fantastic, and you have these guests, and I tell you, like, I've seen so many first of all, amazing workouts, and you've created this community. You've created this community of people, and you don't feel different. You don't feel different. Like, I'm on there, I see, who I was on with Echo Smith and Drake Murphy, and tomorrow. So, by the way, time of recording, we're June 7th right now, friends. Tomorrow, June 8th, the first guest is Neil Brown Jr. By the way, he is he's on my favorite show, SEAL Team. And to see the training, and if, like the workouts, and I'm always trying to picture, like, what kind of workouts are they going through, to get like that build to be like, to be the equivalent of a Navy SEAL, right? And it's amazing, but we don't see that difference, like, it's just like everybody's working out, and you've had a lot of people as well lead the warm-ups, and we're just all sweating together, and so I it's amazing what you've done. And now, how did this come about? Like, how did you just come into this work, and you created this environment? Tell me more about what went through your mind when all this happened.
Sure. Now, Joseph, you have to understand, if you had asked me 4, 5, or 6 months ago, hey, Eric, do you want to do some online training? I would say, no, thank you, please. No, it's not that it's bad. It's just I have no interest. I mean, for me, online training was up there with knitting. Like, I know that people knit, but I don't have a big interest in being a pro knitter. But then COVID hit, and suddenly all the gyms were closed. I'm more of a brick and mortar trainer. I love to work directly with people, but I did not have the opportunity to do that because the gyms were closed. So I suddenly found myself sitting here at home thinking to myself, okay, what am I going to do now? And I started getting phone calls from different clients saying, you know what, Eric, it's been a few days, and it's not the workout that we miss. We miss you. We miss our friends at the gym. We miss the community that we have, and the camaraderie and the jokes and the friendship and the discussion that we have. We miss the gym. Can you please host a workout? Not for the workout, but can you host it so we can see each other? And I said, yeah, I'll do that. So the first day, we actually did it not on Zoom, but on FaceTime. We had 7 people, 7. Ow. And it was a lot of fun. I said, tell your friends we'll do it again. We switched it over to Zoom. Day 2, we had 24 people. Day 3, we had 56 people. Day 5, we had over 100, and it just kept on growing and growing into the hundreds, then the thousands. I think I trained my 4,000th person about 2 weeks ago. People, many of whom I don't know, but they just sort of joined. So I made a vow to myself, and this, Joseph, this is a good example of the guys like you and I, where we put our money where our mouth is. As soon as COVID hit and I started training people online, and they were asking how much it would be, I said, you know what? During this crisis, I don't know how long it's going to last. It might last 1 week. It might last up to 3 or 4 weeks, never knowing it would take over 3 months. Yeah. I said, you know what? During this time, I'm going to give my #1 skill set to the world for free. I'm going to train everyone for free because it's my responsibility. I want to be a leader, and I'm going to step up and lead. So as soon as we started getting into the hundreds, I thought, wow, I've never dealt with groups this large before. I'm not a group fitness instructor. I'm more of a one-on-one guy, or 2-on-1, or even 3-on-1, but not like 300 on one. And I felt like I needed to raise the entertainment aspect of the call. so that people would come on because they were getting a workout, but they were feeling sad. And, it's one thing if you're one-on-one with someone to try to cheer them up. But when you have 200 or 300 people all at the same time, from ages 2 or 3 years old, little kids, all the way up to people in their 80s who are there every day working out with us, it's hard to find a common topic to discuss that 2-year-olds and 80-year-olds find compelling. So the first step was actually creating some little puppets that would say slightly outrageous things. They would make the kids go crazy. They would make the adults chuckle. And then we started booking celebrity guests. Now, the one advantage I have as a trainer that's different than any other trainer in the world is I have a Rolodex unlike any other. I literally have hundreds and hundreds of celebrities' cell phone numbers in my phone because I deal with them all the time. And so I called them and said, hey, I'm doing this thing. I'm trying to help the world. Will you join me? And everybody said yes. And so Fitness Entertainment was born. It was my attempt to take a legit workout, a real workout over an hour's time on a daily basis, 6 days a week, sometimes 3 times a day, and add in an entertainment aspect so afterwards they would be engendered in their heart, in their soul, and their bodies. It was cool.
It creates a great experience, and then you get that word of mouth because you add that flair to it, and people's like, you got to sign up, you got to sign up. And I was talking, obviously for me things are a little tight, but I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna be there tomorrow. I'm gonna be there tomorrow because I see it as an education as well for myself.
Awesome.
Because and by the way, I started counting in the same way because I found it easier as well to teach online. I found that an easier way of because we never know about Zoom freezes,
right.
so as long as you keep that tempo going, but but it's created that dynamic. And have people gotten back to you and say like did they just love it? Like,
yeah, you ready for this? This is kind of crazy. I've hosted a TV show for the past 6 years called Celebrity Sweat, which is a behind the scenes look at athletes and celebrities and their healthy lifestyles. Our only goal was to motivate and inspire people to live healthy lives, and it's gone really, really well. However, for any of you out there that have ever shot a TV show, there's a camera and you're looking into the camera, but you're not getting any feedback. There's no live audience waving to you or anything. It's just it's a one-way exchange. Zoom is better than hosting a TV show because guess what? Every time we're on Zoom, I can see you and you can see me. So if we're all working out together, not only as a trainer can I correct you in real time, like, all right, Joseph, let's go a little higher. Oh, much better. Yes, much higher. But also I can comment on your haircut. I can mention that I like your shirt. I can show you something and listen to your reaction. There's a beautiful two-way exchange. So it's actually a more powerful medium for creating a worldwide community than television. You wouldn't think so, but it is. It's really cool.
Well, yeah, you know what? Sometimes when you're in it, and that's what I did too. In the beginning, I was doing Facebook Live workouts and just doing it free, getting helping people move and squeezing in whenever I can. Because fortunately, I was still able to maintain some of my one-on-one clients through all this. And but at the end, I was like, I needed that feedback. Because I was just talking to a camera, and I created the Zoom. Like I said, guys, we're going on Zoom. This is the registration link. This is what we're going to do. And I got to see how things happen. I'm like, okay, dude, okay, you do not pick up those 50-pound kettlebells and start doing jump squats right now. I guess, like I know each one is like their capabilities, and because I get personal with them in a way where I understand who's who. So I have a small group, but I'm able to say, okay, you focus on this, here's your modification. But it's just, you get that, like every time I work out with you and I see, I'm like, oh my, okay, he's going to spotlight me. Is Alicia going to spotlight me? Because by the way, like, so a lot of times, listeners, when Eric trains, Alicia's in the background, how would I say it? Directing the camera. She's the director. She is director. She's awesome, by the way. She's fantastic. And I love her energy as well. And, but I see myself all of a sudden, I'm like, oh my gosh, the spotlight's on me. Continue those push-ups. And I'm doing these jet rep push-ups. By the way, jet rep is, it's small. It's not full flexion, not full contraction of the muscle. You're actually keeping the muscle engaged throughout the entire movement. And so I've been using that too, because when you're limited in equipment, getting that muscle gain, that activation, going to muscle fatigue or muscle failure, that's the best way.
Right.
And I learned that from you as well. The jet rep. So when it comes to the squat, the push-ups, but I always go in and I'm like, okay, this was what I'm going to do now. So I'm like, 100. We're doing these pulse push-ups, and I'm like, no, I can't. And I'm like, okay, let me focus, and then boom, at 100 I drop. But
that's awesome.
And but I love the way you just interact, and like you talked about my elbows too one time. I don't know if you remember that. It's just hilarious. But that's the interaction. That's the interaction we want, because that's how we get people coming back. I mean, and how have you, so you have these one-on-one workouts, right? Your focus, your experience is one-on-one, semi-private,
right?
But then you're thrown into this pool of group fitness. How has it impacted your workout design, your workout programming?
I've had to do broad strokes. I'm a very specific guy. So I can take a normal man or woman and make them look physically transform into something they're not within days, not months. And I do that not from broad strokes, but by being very specific. I look at you, I can imagine a better version of that, and I know what exercises to do right now that will deliver that today. I mean, just as an example of that, I worked for years as the spokesperson for Gold's Gym worldwide. They sent me to India. They sent me all over the United States to train trainers in our methods. Well, 1 year at the convention, they actually gave me the head of all of Gold's Gym at 11 o'clock in the morning, and they took a picture of him. And I had 1 hour until 12 noon to transform him. And they took a picture, and he looked so different that when he walked out on stage that night, they had the before and the after, the 1 hour transformation on either side. And he walked out in the center. So I have that knowledge base, and I share that with trainers. I try to make trainers better all the time. With this program, it has to be tailored to the full group. So I'm not as specific. So I'm like a sniper that now is using a shotgun to try to cover a wider plane. That being said, I get a lot of really positive reactions from both young and old for the workouts. I think because it's mixed very carefully with entertainment. I mean, we try to get a spectrum of different guests involved. We try to give away the very coolest prizes, because there are lots of companies that love what we're doing, and they say, anything you need, if you need products, if you need any kind of prize, we'd love to provide it. And so we've had a lot of support. It's been great, man. We've actually received a lot of national and international television and magazine exposure on our Zoom workouts. I mean, how does that happen? It's so cool.
Hey, it's the first time I'm on Los Angeles television. I was on KTLA, one of those screens, in the Zoom video. It was really fun. I know. Yeah, find the Canadian in the KTLA report.
Dude, that should be like one of your contests on your website. You should say, find the Canadian and win a prize. Come on.
Well, maybe I should do that. Definitely.
Yeah.
So you have two main workouts right now in Morning Glory Live, which are the Sleek Ninja and Lord of the Jungle.
Right. So Sleek Ninja is a mat-based workout. You need no equipment at all. It's open and great for everybody. It just uses your body weight. You just need a mat, a bottle of water, and a big smile. It's so much fun. And then the Lord of the Jungle workout is designed to help men and women transform into Tarzan and Jane. So it's light weights, exercise bands. And if you don't have any equipment at home, it's no problem, because you can use a 1 gallon water jug to do one-arm rows. You can use 2 spaghetti cans to do shoulders. We have a great time with it. We're very creative. It's awesome. And then there's a third workout that we're going to drop in once in a while. We call that the Wolfpack workout. That's the most intense workout that's offered from us online. And it's intense. So sets of 100 push-ups, heavier weights, and we go kind of crazy. The pacing is different. But being in the Wolfpack is about the highest. It's like the Green Beret, the few, the proud, the Wolfpack. It's cool.
Oh, wow. like I always wondered, like I saw the description, I'm like, okay, how intense is it? And I'm picturing like plates and like I don't know what I was picturing.
Oh, it's
Um,
cool. It's intense. You should do it with us sometime. You'd love it, man.
all right. If it's on the website, I'll find it. We're gonna hook up later, and I'll let me know the details, and I'll be more than happy to try it out. If I,
Perfect.
but if I'm on the floor, don't worry. If I'm
Okay.
crawling, you
It's
know
an
what?
intense workout. It's an intense workout, but every time they do a good job, I praise them with this. Oh, it's a
Oh, I
real
love
one.
it.
It's
Yeah.
good.
Oh man, and like, there's some even my workouts. Like, I teach a group class called Tactical Fit. So my inspiration, I don't know if is well, my mentor and friend Sergeant Ken.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's been at CanFit Pro for a while. That's where we met, and I'm certified through him as a senior tactical fitness instructor. So a lot of the
Awesome.
stuff are like, more military style, but it's a program that's customized for civilians.
Right.
We're marching, we're doing like push-ups, squats within our capabilities, obviously, by pushing the limits. But then we go, okay, I would shout, "Are you fired up?" And everybody would shout back, "Hoo-ah!" And or, "Are you going to quit?" Never. And there's always, by the end of the day, by the end of the workout, my voice is almost gone. But you create that
I love
intense.
I love that guy. Sergeant Ken is the best. He's so cool.
Yeah, you know what? He's like he's up there. In terms of the people who helped me turn a corner in resilience. Um, Before you knew me, back before prior to 2013, I was low on the resilience tank, and with depression and anger management, and trying to find a place to belong. And when I attended the conference as a fitness enthusiast in 2013,
Hmm.
he was the first session I attended because my wife encouraged me to go see him. And
Right.
I'll tell you, I felt like I belonged. It felt like I belonged, and it it was that's how my fitness journey began. I became a fitness professional the year after, and the way I coach people is based on some of his most of his teachings, like in terms of resilience. So I'm not just giving you. I'm not just going 1, 2, 3, 4. How do you feel?
Right.
Put your mind's eye on the muscle, but how do you feel inside? Like, what are you grateful for? Being more resilient and finding these challenges. Taking these challenges and turning them into opportunities. How he would put it. Um, so that's how I grow. And speaking of resilience, I'm gonna take a time machine. I'm gonna take
Hmm.
the DeLorean and go back. I'm not gonna say how many years, but you have an awesome story of resilience. You know you were Eric Fleischman growing up in rural Maine, but
Yes.
you weren't you weren't necessarily into fitness, and you had quite a few obstacles to overcome in your younger years.
Yeah, I grew up in a small town in rural Maine, not far from Canada. And for whatever reason, I was a very small kid, physically
Mm,
small. And usually it's no big deal. But there were some bullies there, and there were some tough kids there, sort of the sons of lumberjacks. And above and beyond all that stuff, all the girls I wanted to make out with were way taller than me. They looked like they could be my babysitter instead of my girlfriend. So it was a little challenging. And I think my dad realized I was going to be short for a long time because when I turned 10, he took me to my first martial arts class. And I began studying Shotokan karate at age 10. It was a real turning point for me because not only did it give me confidence to handle situations that I had previously been a little scared about, but also it opened me up to the notion of exercise in a more regimented form. And also, I was the only kid in that class. So when I did do some light sparring, it was against men and grown women. And so I think I previously, before that, I'd been a little frightened of physical confrontation. But when you start to practice with people that are not going to kick your ass, it actually builds your confidence. And I continued. I got my black belt, and it was great. And it started a lifelong passion for martial arts that actually I never stopped. I now have 3 black belts. I've been doing martial arts now for over 41 years. I've taught on every level with SWAT teams in the police department, in the sheriff's department. I've stopped confrontation in the street before. I mean, I love martial arts so much. I don't love the martial arts, or I'm sorry, I don't love the martial aspect as much as I love the arts. I love the lifestyle, the yin and the yang, the movement, the asymmetrical movement. And when you couple that with the fitness stuff that we do, it's a pretty unstoppable force. But yeah, I was a short, small kid who played in the marching band. I actually smashed the cymbals together, so I didn't have a lot of musical talent back then. And yeah, it was looking back, it was a very happy place to live, because in a rural town in Maine, there's not a lot of crime or drugs or any of that crazy stuff, which I never got into. And yeah, looking back, I love going back to Maine. I go back to Maine every single summer to see my family. They still live up there. And it's wild. It's wild to go back and see all these guys that used to be big and strong. Now they're short and old. And I'm like, what happened? Come on.
So that's it. You just use that and you're like, okay, I'm coming back. Use that as motivation, as a drive.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, Joseph, I can tell you a funny story. On my 20th high school reunion, 20 years, so I was 38 years old, I came back with the intention of finding the bullies that used to bother me and kicking their ass. Like, I'm not a very aggressive or mean guy, but I really wanted to tell those guys that I didn't appreciate what they had done, 22 years beforehand. So I go into the big events and people, it's filled with people. I don't recognize anyone. And because everyone's changed and they don't know who I am at all. No one recognizes anyone. And not until you start reading the name tags do you say, oh, that guy was in my English class. That guy was in my social studies class. And we start to see each other and it's amazing. They can't believe it's me, because I was like that tall. And, I used to run under tables to get things. Like if someone dropped a pencil underneath the table, I could just run under there and hand it to them. And I never saw the bullies there. And so I kind of gave up looking for the bullies at this big event. And then about 2 hours later, people were now dancing. There was a DJ there. I saw these 3 old, short, fat, balding guys in the back who were just sort of like enjoying themselves. I mean, they looked like someone's grandfather. And I went back. Those were the 3 bullies. At age 38, they looked like they were in their 60s. They had no idea who I was. And I thought, wow, if this is not a message from Father Time, that it all works out sometimes, I don't know what is. So I just waved to them. I said hello. I didn't even introduce myself. They had no idea who I was. And I did not throw them through the wall like I had promised.
Oh gosh. But it's funny because, I used to be bullied too, but for the opposite reason. I was tall. I was the tallest kid in my class. And I remember showing up at this brand new school, and I was in grade 2, so I was about roughly 7 or 8 years old. And people would pick on me because I was tall. So if they would, I remember this story, like, I don't want to go like into a sad, like, how would I say, in a sad mood right now, but just to say, like, people would say, like we're talking about a story about a T-Rex, right? And everybody would say my name out loud and look at me, make fun of me. Or
really?
they would yeah. And everybody was short. I was like, I don't know how tall I was. I wasn't keeping track. But by the time I hit 12, I was 5'10", 5'11". I'm 6'1" now. I kind of say 6'2" sometimes, but no, I'm at 6'1". And you know what changed for me? My height came at an advantage for me, because I was into basketball, but I wasn't into basketball until I hit high school. So high school, where I grew up in Montreal, so not far from Maine, by the way. So a lot of people go to from Montreal go to Maine, and I think Cape Cod is it, right? And the coach there. So this was grade 7. So high school goes from grade 7 to grade 11, and the coach asks me, "You should try out for the team." So, okay, so I knew I knew how to dribble a ball, I know how to throw, but shoot a ball, but like, I didn't know the proper techniques. And that's where I started picking it up, and it came to my advantage. My height came to my advantage. I was second stringer. I was on the bench, but when my second year came around, I was a captain of my team, led my team to championships, and I kept on moving up. And I'm like, you know what, I'm using what I thought used to be a disadvantage to my advantage. And now, who cares now? Now I'm working out. I lost, in the past 7 years. So when you met me, I was actually close to 200, 205. Right? We're talking about 5 years ago. Over the course of 8 years, I lost about 40 pounds. So on my wedding day, 2011, I could show you a picture later. I
Okay.
was 230 pounds. And until I, got into fitness and I started understanding the concepts of metabolic conditioning and also nutrition and sleep, and progressively I started losing it. I didn't go for like that those fad crash diets where it's
Right.
only lasts a short period of time. So in progressive, I saw it happening, and that's where I am now. And but it's the journeys that define us. Good or bad, the way that it's how we respond that define who we are.
I agree. I agree,
Yeah.
man. Well, I'll tell you, Joseph, you set an excellent example for others. And I can tell you that if and when I come back to the CanFit Pro, I'm hanging out with you the whole time. We'll have a good time.
Oh man, no, definitely. We're gonna go out for pizza. But you know what's funny? I saw last year. I saw Billy Blanks,
Uh-huh.
founder of Taibo, by the way, folks. Just in case you didn't know. And I was like, man, I should have hit up Eric when he was in town. Like touring with Def Leppard. I was like, oh man, because you were in Toronto for a little bit,
I
and
was. We always have a great time in Toronto. For whatever reason, work takes me to Toronto a lot. And we always stay at the same place, which is the Four Seasons right there in Toronto. It's so beautiful. And one of my biggest competitors here in Los Angeles, we're actually friends. We're not enemies, but we do compete for the same types of jobs, is a trainer named Harley Pasternak. You know Harley?
oh yeah,
So
I've met him.
yeah, so I actually just ironically ran into Harley's parents in the gym at the Four Seasons when I was training Def Leppard. And I said, wow, your son is such a great guy. He and I get a chance to hang out sometimes in Los Angeles. And they couldn't believe it. They thought, what a small world. It was really cool. I love Canada. I think Toronto is my favorite city in all of North America.
Oh wow, all North America after Los
Yeah,
Angeles and where you've
dude, North America, I think Toronto is my favorite city.
nice,
Yeah.
nice. No, thank
Plus,
you.
you guys have Drake. That's kind of cool.
Oh yeah, we have Drake here, and yeah, well, obviously, and we got a few good people. And what Shawn Mendes too, right?
Yeah, you sure do.
And Justin Bieber. Well, just outside Toronto. But like, so I want to understand too. You have this, and there's always something else you taught on one of your posts on social media a long time ago about sleep, about the
Mhm.
quality of sleep, and for some reason it's stuck in my head. Going to bed before 12, before midnight, so between 10 and 12, like going to sleep, not like shutting down at 11 o'clock or whatever it is. It's like you're in the bed, everything's shut down by 10, 11 o'clock. Now,
Right.
what's this? What like? How did you like? What are the benefits of that? Versus going to bed at 1 and waking up at 9, for example.
Good question. Well, I think if we walk it back two steps, people come to me not for my jokes and definitely not for my good looks. They come to me for result. They come to me because they need a desired result and they don't really have very much leeway. They're either going to transform into this character and make $10 million or they're not and they will not make any money. It's sort of a have and a have not. So they come to me for results. If I, as a trainer or as a coach, need to deliver a result, I need to understand the science behind it. So the very science of change is only three things: it's exercise, it's diet, and it's sleep. But of those three things, hold on one second. Of those three things, the most important is actually sleep, and I'll tell you why. Sleep is when all physical transformation occurs. All physical changes occur exclusively during slumber. And so when you sit down with a celebrity, I don't care if it's an actor or a rock star, and you examine those three things: exercise, diet, and sleep. If they worked out with me, the exercise is taken care of. From a diet perspective, I can tell them what to have, or I can actually call my pals at Sunfair. Sunfair is the food delivery service that we use here in Hollywood. All of our celebrities use it all the time. I make one phone call, everything is delivered the next day, fresh, daily,
Mm.
organic, portioned out. Like there's no messing up because it's right there and it is delicious. I actually eat that stuff all the time too. But the X factor, the one way that they can do something where it won't work out is sleep. The hours that you're actually asleep before midnight are worth nearly twice as much as the hours after midnight, meaning that if there were two Josephs, by the way, I would like both of these Josephs because I like Josephs from Canada in general. If there were two and one of them went to bed asleep at 10 and woke up at 6 or 7, and the other one stayed up till 1 in the morning and woke up around 9 or 10, the one that went to bed earlier would change faster, would look better, would have less puffy eyes, would have a better metabolism. There's a big difference. And if you think I'm wrong, I challenge you for 7 days to be in bed, lights out at 10 o'clock. Now, to do that, you do have to set up your life a little bit differently. I'd like you to also stop eating all food at 6:30 at night, because if you stop eating all solid food at 6:30, by the time 9:30 or 10 rolls around, you're going to feel tired, because ultimately your body is a machine and that machine needs fuel. Without fuel, you'll feel tired. In this case, we want you to give into the tiredness and be in bed asleep by 10. If you do that for 1 week, you'll be like, Eric and Joseph are the Batman and Robin of fitness. It's so good.
Yeah, no, and I agree. Like I see the difference myself, and I always tell my clients, like, go to bed at this time. If you work a 9 to 5 job or an 8 to 5 job, obviously, if you work a night shift, that's different. It's a different world in itself. But when you go to bed at that time, if you go late, your body I kind of believe, and this is my assumption based on my experience, is your body goes into a survival mode. And it's slowing down the metabolism to retain all the energy, because the body's like, oh my gosh, I got to stay up longer. So let me hold on to this. And that's my rationale behind, okay, go to bed early. Your body's like, okay, I don't need it. Everything's slowing down. I don't need all this energy. But if you're up partying till 2 a.m., it's going to say, okay, I'm going to slow down, but I got to retain the energy in order to keep you up.
Yes. Well, for 10 years in a row, I vacationed in Hawaii every year at the same place. And I would usually go there for between 7 to 10 days. And the pace in Hawaii is so slow and so relaxing. All I would do is wake up every morning, have a very healthy breakfast, wander over to the gym, have a giant workout, then play with my son on the beach for a few hours, have dinner, and then go to sleep early. I'll tell you, in 7 to 10 days every year, I would go from about 231 or 232 when I arrived on the island. When I landed back in Los Angeles, I would always be at least 10 pounds, if not 12 pounds heavier, and my waist did not budge, because all I was doing is eating super healthy foods, working out, and sleeping my ass off. It was unbelievable. I'm actually looking right now at hosting some retreats and getaways with some of the people from Morning Glory Live joining me, where I would take them to Hawaii. We would stay at a beautiful place. We would work out together live and in person each day. And then we would have healthy food and then go to sleep early. I'll tell you, that's where your cortisol levels get really, really low, because there's no stress. You're actually relaxed. Your body can express itself. Your mind is clear. Those kinds of resets are really important.
Oh man, that sounds great. That retreat. I don't mind going to Hawaii.
Yeah, man. Dude.
Oh, man, I'm there.
The other place that we go a lot, and I usually go there 3 or 4 times a year, we go to Budapest 3 or 4 times a year. We do the same thing over there. The greatest gym in Eastern Europe is in Budapest. It's called Flex Gym. It's where Arnold Schwarzenegger worked out for the new Terminator. That was so good. It's where Dwayne Johnson worked out for a year before Hercules. Flex Gym in Budapest is the greatest gym in Europe. And I train all of my celebrity clients, because we shoot a lot of TV shows and movies in Budapest. So I go over there. I stay at the beautiful Marriott right on the water, and we train at the gym. It is amazing. Like, you should come with me to Budapest. You'll never come back to Canada. It's unbelievable. The food's great, and the American dollar is strong. So I took out actually an entire cast of a movie that I was training to a fancy dinner at a place called Jean Georges, which is the fancy Italian restaurant. I took them out, and it cost me under $300 for everyone. It was crazy.
Whoa. Well, that's amazing. Like, here, always you come to Canada, you're going to get a lot for the dollar too at the same time. But
I love Canada. I'm going to come up there and hang out with you. I love Toronto.
Hey, I would love to host you. You got,
Awesome.
come on down or hang out. We'll get a workout in. Hey, how about I put you through one of my workouts?
That sounds great, man.
That'd be
I would
awesome.
love it. I would
I would
love it.
love it. That would be awesome. Oh man. So yeah, and a couple of more things. And like we talk about exercise, nutrition, sleep. There's another one, mindfulness. And I find that mindfulness, being mindful, practicing meditation, I'm not talking about, sitting in silence, but also just being present helps with, with fitness, with overall fitness, because we're talking about, reducing stress, that elevates those cortisol levels that, create that little belly that we're trying to get
Right.
rid of, right?
Right.
Um, do you incorporate some form of mindfulness with your clients?
I would say that a third of my clients admit to me after the first year of training with me that the discussions that we have are the most important part of the workouts for them. So to answer your question, yes. And I'm glad you used the word present, because I think a lot of your listeners and viewers may not be aware of this, but this is a fact. Many people that you see every day are caught in their heads. They're not living in present time. They're not sharp, and they don't understand what's happening here because they're thinking about things in the past that bothered them that they wish they could do differently, or things that are going to be happening in the future that they're worried about. They're not living in present time. And so a great trainer, as opposed to a great trainer like Joseph, will actually engage the client in conversation and discussion, which begins to stimulate those cognitive abilities for both clarity and vision, where no longer do they have anxiety about the future, but they have excitement about the future. And suddenly the workout that you're doing with someone like Joseph begins to mirror the things that will happen in the future. So your preparation for your body and watching your body expand can actually be a dichotomy, just like looking at your business or your personal life or the projects that you have in your life. And you can see how if I'm successful with my body here with someone like Joseph, I can be successful in my work, in my personal life, in the same way, being constructive. And that takes mental clarity. But before you have mental clarity, you have to get them to present time. It's a very, very powerful word you use, Joseph. That was excellent.
Oh, well, thank you. No, and that's why I call it the Mindfully Resilient podcast, because mindfulness and resilience are pretty much a big part of my journey in fitness and in life as a human, right? As a human being. Sometimes even the workouts, I talk about where people are afraid to go to the gym or don't follow through with their goals, like the New Year's resolutioners that go to the gym and leave after a month because there's this intimidation, because they can only curl, let's say, 10 pounds, whereas the person next to them is curling 40 or 50. And so they feel
Right.
intimidated. But I just say, what if you're mindful about your workout? You're present. You actually put your minds out. You're looking at the bicep. You're feeling the bicep move and contract with every movement. And before you know it, when you're mindful and not focusing on the person beside you, you're focusing on the exercise, you'll see that you'll actually reach that 40 pounds in no time. And I always remind people, the only competition is the person staring right back at you in the mirror. I'm not talking about the
Yeah.
person standing beside you and looking, using as as a reflection, but that's it. That's it. So, yeah, no, it's we're always caught up in our heads. And I think when we have established our relationship with our emotions and our thoughts, we can achieve greatness, and our workouts are maximized as well. Because there's nothing worse
I
than going
totally
into a
agree.
workout.
Arnold Schwarzenegger discusses something that he calls visualization. And that's the next level beyond the mind muscle connection. Obviously, when you're doing bicep curls, we want you to think about what's happening, and we want you to feel the contraction at the top, feel the slow negative release of that contraction as the weight comes down. But even beyond that, visualization, which Arnold used his entire competitive bodybuilding career, imagines that bicep is actually a mountain peak where people go skiing. Moi, je fais du ski, et vous? Yes, they go skiing there, and that's something that gives you an edge also. So it's not only engaging in present time with what you're doing and being involved, it's also imagining a best case scenario. And many people I have found in my career, whether they go through life or their relationships or work, they never stop for a second and fantasize what a best case scenario would be of any situation. I mean, for example, you wake up in the morning, you're walking down the street, you're going to work. Maybe you don't like your work. What would a best case scenario be at work? Like, describe to me what the best day at this job that you don't like would be. Because if it's not extraordinary, you should probably get another job. I mean, here's another question, even beyond that. If I gave you $100 million, so you no longer have to work for money, and you could do anything you wanted to, what would you do? Because whatever you're going to say after you think for a minute, that should be your job. If you'd rather go to the movies, come to Hollywood. There are a lot of jobs in the entertainment business around film, and people love it. There are screenwriters and gaffers and makeup artists and actors and composers and directors and producers, and I train them all, by the way. But I'm saying, follow your passions, make your passion your work, and you'll never work a day in your life. It changes the game.
Oh, man, that's a powerful message, and I agree with you, because it took a layoff for me to fulfill my passion and to fulfill and pursue fitness full time. Okay, so last question I have for you. I have so many, but we can go on for, like I said, for hours. What's next for you? Big, hairy. What's a big, hairy, audacious goal, a BHAG, for you this year?
Well, what's next for me, and I have not announced this in a public way yet, but it just happened, was with the rise of fitness entertainment, a lot of new opportunities have come my way. And so I felt it was important to take advantage of those opportunities, both inside the gym and outside the gym. So I secretly established a production company. And, when I go back to see my parents, and I go on the local news there, and I see the governor, who's from my hometown, they always tease me because for where I'm from in Maine, I'm a big, strong guy. So they call me the Maine Monster. So as of last week, Maine Monster Productions was established. We got the name, we got the logo, we got the .com. And so I'm really excited to announce that we're going to have a full roster of fitness entertainment programming in 3 different divisions. We're going to have online programming like Morning Glory Live, my show, which launches tomorrow. We're also going to have Morning Glory Live in tandem in Spanish. So one of the guys that works for me, who speaks Spanish beautifully, is going to be teaching Morning Glory Live Espanol. I'm producing that also. And we have a bunch of other online shows that we're going to be doing, all under the Maine Monster banner. Also, we have some legit TV shows. I hosted a TV show for 6 years here in America called Celebrity Sweat, but I've been developing other television properties which will make their ways to the airwaves, and I'm going to help produce them. So that way I can maintain some creative control and really deliver the highest level of fitness entertainment. The first one that's coming out of the gate that we start shooting in 2 weeks, ready for this? I'm the executive producer of Lou Ferrigno's new TV show called The Reset Plan. And so Lou and his daughter Shauna and I are going to be working closely together to create this great show, and we're going to sell it into a network, and it's going to be great. That'll be under the Maine Monster logo also. And then we have a film project that we're in contractual stages for. So we'll have 3 divisions of this great production company, and I'm hoping to bring a lot of exciting new fitness entertainment programming to the world.
Oh, okay. So hold on a sec. Am I getting this right? Did you just first announce it here on the podcast?
I did. You guys got an exclusive.
Oh, wow. I'm honored. I'm seriously honored. Wow. Okay. Public announcement right here. Maine Monster Productions. Oh, I love it. I love it.
I'm so excited. And like I said, we have all these projects that have already initiated. So it's an exciting time. And my goal is to motivate and inspire people through both entertainment and fitness, which essentially becomes a lifestyle. And we're going to have all these new vehicles to do it. It's going to be great.
Well, thank you for sharing that. I mean, I'm honored. I'm legitimately honored right now. So for those of you listening right now, I'm like smiling. I got this like little, how would I say, quote unquote fanboy smile. All right. So how can people connect with you? Like Facebook and website?
Well, I'm on social media, and you can DM me, and I'm sure I'll get back to you. So Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, I'm at Eric the Trainer. Or if you want to work out with me on a daily basis, if you go to morningglorylive.com, you can actually sign up. It's a very, very low subscription price to work out with me 5 days a week. We have celebrity guests. We have great music. We have amazing puppets. It's so much fun. The workouts are huge. We have a bunch of surprises in store for everyone. And we launch tomorrow. So check out morningglorylive.com. And hopefully I'll see you guys, boom, on Zoom.
Well, thank you very much. So Eric, I had a great conversation. Amazing. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, man. Joseph, you're the best, man.
Oh, man, I had a great time. And well, yeah, we'll chat soon.
All right. Sounds good, man. Thanks again for the opportunity.
Well, thank you.